Good morning and welcome to today's mobility session. This is 20 to 30 minutes of gentle movement designed for seniors, but open to anyone who wants to move their body, feel warmed up for a workout, or just improve your mobility with a little bit of practice. So we'll start with a standing circuit, move on to the floor in case you want a yoga mat or a comfortable surface to lie on, and then we'll finish with another standing circuit. So we'll go ahead and get started with our first mobility exercise. This one is going to start with your feet just about an inch apart or all the way together, hands at your sides. And then you're going to bring your arms up overhead, shift to the side and the other side, come back to center and bring your arms back down. Really think about reaching the arms forward and up. Sway to one side, lengthening your fingertips towards the ceiling and coming all the way back down. Throughout all these movements today, keeping an eye on your breathing. Make sure you're not holding your breath. You don't have to be too careful about timing your inhale and exhale with mobility. Just make sure that you're breathing, or I'll prompt you if ever there is a time that we want to focus on when that exhale is. We'll do two more of these, fingertips long, reach towards the ceiling, one side and the other, all the way back down, and one more time, reaching up, shift, reach to the other side, and rest once you're back down. Very good. Our second one is going to be a crowd pleaser with our wrist mobility circles. So starting with my hands in fists, just with my arms raised up, bent at the elbow, I'm going to think about doing a really exaggerated circle. Just trying to make that as smooth as I can. Taking your time, noticing if there's any areas where you tend to feel a little bit stuck. Try to just work through them, not using momentum or going too quick that you just pass them by. And now, tricky part, reverse. Move the wrists in the opposite of whichever direction you were just doing. Sometimes with coordination for this one, you have to think about it, but you can't think too hard. Just keep that circle going to help with the coordination. We'll do two more. And rest. Very good. And then our third one is going to be a standing knee tuck. If you need more support, you can do this resting all the way against a wall. But if you have decent balance and want to challenge that a little bit, you're going to bring one knee up, tuck it to your chest, and place it back down, then alternate legs. A little bit of a tuck. Your knee may not come as far up as mine does. That's totally okay. All of our mobility is different. You're just going to that comfortably uncomfortable end range of motion. Noticing when you feel that resistance and letting go. Shifting from one side. Even okay to just be near the wall behind you for a little bit of security. Taking your time. Our mobility movements are rarely quick ones, although there is the occasional leg swing or arm swing, but most things are going to be nice and controlled so you get really intentional movement. We'll do one more. And rest. Very good. All right, as always, we're going to repeat each circuit for 2 times. So we're going back to the top with the arm raise and reaches, starting with arms down, reach forward and up. Think about your fingertips really reaching as far as they can. And then lower back down. And fingertips reach down, forward, up. Shift to the side and other side. If If you've done other classes, we've done a version where the hips shift as well. Today we're really focusing on the arm, getting length in this lat, not shifting the hips as much side to side. Although if it feels good, by all means, feel free to shift your hips a little bit. Reaching up. That makes for a really active shoulder joint if we're not just kind of letting the arms hang down. And we'll do one more. Reach forward, reach up, shift, and shift the other way. Very good. All right, second one, we're back to those wrist circles. Pick whichever direction you want to start with, and then trying to keep everything else still, especially your elbows and forearms. Concentrating all of that movement at the wrist. You can also see if you notice any difference side to side. That's totally normal. Rarely are we perfectly symmetrical. Also, getting any snap, crackles, and pops is totally okay. And then switch sides. The only time you need to worry or should reach out to someone is if those snap, crackle, and pops come with any pain associated. But creaking happens with a lot of our joints, and it's nothing to worry about here. Nice big circles. And one more time. And rest. Very good. And then back for our third one, resting all the way against a wall if you need or want to. And then just bring one leg up, gentle tug, alternating side to side. Things that help with balance if you are doing this and want to work on your balance is instead of watching me, which is a moving reference point, pick a spot on the wall that is not moving and stare at that for a focal point. Really think about feeling your weight shift into the foot and keep your weight in the midfoot, kind of the center point. And really thinking about pushing the floor away with your foot. Helps to create an active bottom of your foot. Little tug. We've got one more for each side. Nice, slow, controlled movement. If it almost feels like you're going too slow, it's usually the right speed. And rest. Very good. All right, we're heading onto the floor for our second circuit. So make your way down onto a yoga mat or a comfortable surface. And we're going to start in our hands and knees position. So meet me down here with your hands right underneath your shoulders, knees under your hips. And just make sure that your back isn't arched, but it's at least flat, could be a tiny bit rounded. And then we're going to move your leg out to the side, placing your foot even with your knee. Then from here, we're going to rock our hips back towards the heel and come back forward. Rocking back, your body will let you know how far back it wants to go. If you need to double up any cushion on this knee that's on the ground, feel free. Or if for some reason your hip doesn't like this, you could move your knees in and just do a bit of a child's pose rocking. If you're in this position, stay with me for one more rock back and rest. You don't have to rotate, but I will to show you this other side. Stick the other leg out. That foot is even with your knee, not behind or in front. And then shift backwards and forwards. Should feel a little pull on the inside of that extended leg in our adductor and our hip flexors. Reaching the hips back towards the heel. Again, not a quick movement. Reach back. And forth, we've got two more. Hips back. And last one, reach back and rest. Very good. Then for our second exercise, make your way down onto your back with your knees bent. This one, we're gonna do a bit of shoulder pro and retraction. So a great one for our shoulder mobility. And we have the feedback of the floor. So start with your arms straight up, hands directly above the shoulder. And then I am going to reach my fingertips towards the ceiling. You'll see that lifts the shoulder joint. And then I'm going to try to retract, pushing as much as my shoulder down into the mat as I can. Reach up and then push the shoulder girdle flat against the ground. Nice slow control. It's kind of the opposite of a serratus style push-up if you've ever done those. We've done them in the hands and knees position, but with the ground right here, we have a little feedback of what to push that shoulder into. It's meeting the ground, lifting up, pushing into the ground, lifting up. You can even use your hand like I just did to show you what's working, to kind of feel, is that shoulder lifting and is it coming back to the ground? Last one, and rest. Very good. And then we're already in position for our third exercise. We're gonna do single leg drops. So move your feet, make sure they're about an inch or a foot away from your hips. And then you're going to start dropping one knee towards the floor as low as it can go without the hips shifting over to the side. And then bring it back up. Other side, lower that knee, but keep your hips facing upward and bring it back up. Continue alternating. Knee goes towards the floor. And this is where everyone is really different. You might be surprised about how far or not far you can lower that knee without the hips totally shifting. Try to keep them facing up. Let one knee drop and bring it right up. My hands aren't really doing anything here, but I find having them on my hips helps me notice if my hips are starting to shift. So you could give that a try. You can even have your hands on the abs. They provide just a little bit of support. They shouldn't be bracing too hard, but definitely bracing a little bit. And other side. And rest. Very good. All right, we'll repeat this circuit one more time. So make your way back into that hands and knees position. We'll give you a moment to get there, and we're going to go back to those inner thigh rock backs. So extend your foot directly out to the side. And then when you're ready, rock the hips back towards the heel and forward. This is also a little bonus wrist mobility. If you find that being in this position with weight on your hands is hard, you get a little relief as you rock back, and then applying gentle pressure as we rock forward. So it's a way for them to get used to a little bit of that weight, but without just staying in that position. But if you start to feel anything, you can certainly do this one from your hands in fist position, just to relieve any of that strain. 2 more for this side. Hips go back and forward, taking your time. Last one. And rest. Very good. All right, you can just stick your other leg out to the side. Make sure that foot isn't behind you or in front of you, in front of that knee. And when you're ready, reach back and forward. Maybe notice if it feels like you can get a little bit extra distance with your hips reaching back. Now that we've loosened up the hips a little bit with our first round. But always just doing whatever range of motion feels comfortable for you today. Our mobility can even vary day to day, especially if you've done anything that would make the body hold a little tightness or if anything's sore. It's good to practice paying attention to it each day. Good, one more. And rest, perfect. All right, then make your way back on to your back for that lying position with knees bent. And we'll go back to that shoulder pro and retraction. Fingertips are pointing up at the ceiling. Just take a breath here for a moment. Inhale. And exhale it out. And then when you're ready, reach those fingertips up and then push the shoulder blades down. Because we're on the ground, we're not really able to fully squeeze the shoulder blades together, but we're practicing pulling them apart and pushing into the ground. Your hands shouldn't move too much. They may pull apart slightly as you're pushing into the ground, but the elbows are staying the same amount of bent. It's really a small movement just in that shoulder girdle. Reach and press. 2 more times. And last one, really reach up towards the ceiling and pull the shoulder blades down. Very good. All right, then we're all set to go for our third one. Make sure the feet are about a foot away from your hips. And then when you're ready, drop one knee to the side as far as you comfortably can without losing that hip position and dropping the hips over to the side. It's a really good one to go slow with. Sometimes coordination can feel a little funky with this movement, figuring out how to coordinate it. So give yourself time to find that mind-muscle connection. Knee drops down and a controlled raise back up, not rushing through. And lift back up. We've got 2 more for each side. Lower down and up with control. And 1 more for each side. Make sure you're breathing regularly. And last one. Rest. Very good. Alrighty, that concludes our floor circuit. So make your way back up to standing for our last circuit. Give you a moment to make your way there. And we're gonna go back to shoulder mobility for our last circuit, or our first exercise of our last circuit. And we're gonna do a field goal rotation. So I'm starting with my hands bent at 90 degrees at shoulder level. And then I'm going to rotate up and back as far as I can without like throwing my back into it. And then rotate down, again, just keeping that position going as far as I can. Rotate up and a little bit back. Really making sure not to sacrifice that 90-degree position at the elbow. Rotate up. Everything else is still. It's all that movement at the shoulder. Rotate down. You might even feel the shoulders start to work a little bit, just holding that position with the elbows straight in line or as straight as we can. If that irritates anything, you could always keep the shoulders a little bit lower down, and that's okay too. But fight for that 90-degree elbow angle if you can. Last one. And rest. Very good. All right, second one, we've got a little neck mobility. We're gonna hit all directions. So just stand with your feet together or an inch or 2 apart. And we're gonna drop ear to shoulder one side, then the other, and then we're going to look up and tuck the chin. Back to center, ear to shoulder, not rushing through, looking up and tucking the chin down. One side, other side. Head looks up and chin tucks down. One more for each direction, ear to shoulder. Other side. Neck looks up and tucks back down. Very good. All right, our last one, going back to lower body with a little bit of a combination movement. We're going to combine a squat and a hinge. And so for this one, you're going to start standing with your feet about shoulder width apart. And you can just have your hands on your hips or hands just down in front of you. I'll show you with hands on the hips. I'm first going to squat down, and then I'm going to lift my hips, push the knees back, and then straighten back up. So it's a squat on the way down. Then I move into a position where I can hinge my way back up. Maybe give it a try with a different hand position, squatting down. Then imagine you're ready for a Romanian deadlift and hinge your way back up. If squats and deadlifts aren't something you're familiar with, that's totally okay. It might just take a few more repetitions to get the hang of this one. But for squats, it's like I'm sitting down to a chair. Then I lift my hips and push my knees back a little bit, and then push hips forward to stand back up. Dropping down, make sure your shoulders aren't below your hips for this position, and come back up. One more time, squatting down, hips push back a little bit, and rest. Very good. All right, we've got one more round of these and then we'll be done. So going back to that field goal post position with your arms, 90-degree at the elbow. And when you're ready, let's start with going down, pressing, and then rotate back up. Reaching the arms back a little bit if they can. This is all internal and external rotation of the shoulder. So long as we're keeping things locked in place, we isolate the movement to that rotator cuff. So try to be really fixed in place here. Rotating down, nice controlled movement. Lifting up. Rotating down. One more time. Lift and lower and rest. Very good. All right, then we're back to our neck mobility, starting with ear to shoulder. So pick a side, then other side, back to center, then look up, and then tuck the chin down. Back to center, then ear to shoulder, other shoulder, head looks up, then chin tucks down. Ear to shoulder. So the one where you can get into a nice rhythm with it. Head looks up, chin tucks down. One more time for each, ear to shoulder, other shoulder, chin looks up, and touches back down. Perfect, very good. All right, then we've got one more time with that tricky squat hinge combo. So find a position with feet shoulder width, or if you want to have the feet a little wider, that's okay too. And then first we are going to squat down, push the hips and knees back a little, stand back up. Lowering down, heels always stay on the floor, hips push back, and come back up. Make sure you're not rounding over at the shoulders. We're keeping a nice straight spine, dropping down, Hips lift up and push forward. Good. We've got 2 more, then you're done for the day. Gotten off to a great start with some mobility work here. Last one, down, shift, and up. Very good. Alrighty, well, thank you for joining me for today's mobility workout. I hope you feel a little limbered up and ready to face the rest of your day. If you want more information from me, feel free to head on over to Instagram at Hello Strength Seniors, and I will see you next week for more morning mobility.